Corporates have not only put the seed under threat, but they're also taking away our culture. Seed, with its intelligence, has shaped the culture of many African societies. We've seen seed being used in marriage rites, initiation rites. We've seen seeds being used in many aspects of our African life. We've always recognized that seed is under threat, but this seed has continued from generation to generation. We want to understand how this has happened. We'll now have a panel discussion where we'll discuss farmer-managed seed systems and community seed banks. Please, those who are joining us via Facebook, share as much as possible so that a lot of people can join in and can learn. And also people who have joined us via Zoom, please call in more friends and share the live videos with the hashtag Seed is Power on the AFSA page and on a Growing Culture page. Leonardo, over to you, please.
In the African context, seed is food, seed is cultural, seed is inherited. And as Mary has just shown us from Zambia, the seed that she's planting were passed on to her from somebody else. And she has the intention of passing them on even to her children to retain, first of all, the nutrition, to retain the natural taste of food, but also as a form of identity. Today, we are going to be talking to our presenters from different parts of Africa. We have northern part of Africa, that is Tunisia. We have Kenya, which is in the eastern part of Africa. We're also going to be listening to our presenter from Southern Africa, specifically Zambia. And then we're also going to be listening to a voice of an organization that practices culture and tradition in relation to seed, and that is Africa Biodiversity Network. Our first presenter is going to be Edwin Jean Daniel, and is going to be talking to us about endangered indigenous seed bank. We all know that our seeds are under threat from GM trials, as was shared by CD, what we had, what is very fresh in the Kenyan situation. And when seeds are threatened, our livelihoods are threatened, our future is threatened, and also our culture. Daniel, welcome. As you come in, you could tell us about the Africa Biodiversity Network, and then you could also tell us about the endangered indigenous seed bank. And also, why is it important, especially right now, where when you're having a lot of harmonization of legislations across the continent, and even across within the African Union. And of course, there are also elements of biopiracy across the continent. Welcome, Jean. Is he with us?
Bonjour, bonsoir tout le monde. J'espère que vous allez bien.
Each and everyone, I hope that you're doing well. I wish to share a few pictures, a few photos with you, if you can allow me to share my screen, just to share a few photos with you, please.
Yeah, you should have sharing privileges now.
Donc, allez-y. Thanks a lot. I am Jean-Edouin Daniel. I work for AFSA'S. The AFSA'S is an organization which works in partnership with PBN, African Biodiversity Network. It's an African network which promotes biodiversity. We work in terms of helping, the farmers to keep the traditional knowledge and the seeds. So before I continue, I'm going to talk about EBN and AFSA'S. EBN, as I said right now, is which is a network promoting biodiversity. It's a regional, a network of individuals and organizations which is trying to find some African solution to African issues such as ecology-based issues, socio-economic, issues. PBN as 6 partners for the time being in 12 countries. So among these countries, we have Benin, Botswana, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique, South Africa, Tanzania, Togo, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. So the AFSA'S is an organization founded by FAMIJA. So we focus on the indigenous knowledge on agroecology and the protection of biodiversity. So we work with many farmers, but in our project on the conservation of endangered seeds, so we work in 3 communities, 3 different communities. First of all, I will tell you how we define an indigenous seed. It's a seed which concerns a specific a place which has not been modified by the human being. How do we define endangered seed? So the seed is endangered when a lot of stakeholders, are involved in using this seed. We can meet it on the market, and most of the food made from this seed, are seldom. So that is how we started, with this treaty to really repatriate these seeds. So we put the farmers in network. So let's recall that there is something that we used to eat, in our forefathers' days. But at a certain moment, we wish to get this local food, but we cannot find it on the market. So it is very probable that this seed is disappearing, or is in danger. So that is why with this community, we have decided to set up a seed bank for conserving those seeds, so the farmers who hold seeds can come and deposit, the seed at the level of a bank, and those who are missing, who don't have those seeds can come and get them, from this bank and bring back with an interest. For example, if you take 1 kg of seed, so you should bring back more than 1 kg. It can be 1.5 or 2 kg according to its or capacities. And what will be brought will be shared with other farmers. So it is a way to save those endangered seeds. So one of the things that we've been able to do is that we organize, during the inauguration, the seed bank inauguration, we organize, an event. So we notice that in most of our recipients, our containers are in plastic in terms of, saving our seeds. So we hope to get, a better conservation tools, which are not in plastic. So we organize some exhibition fairs in order to share those seeds with other people who cannot reach them. So we also organize some, exposition fairs, not only about with the seeds, but our diets, our meals that our grandfathers used to eat. Because the purpose of keeping the seed is to produce, a natural food. So we also try to raise awareness of its grassroots population about the work we have achieved so far. So thanks a lot to have given us, the possibility to share our work with you.
Thank you so much for reminding us that seed can actually be shared, seed should be saved, and of course, seed should be kept for future generations. And of course, you've also reinforced the fact that African seed is under threat, and it's very, very important for us to be able to save our seeds, not only for now, but also, just a moment, let me change the language. You can hear me now?
Yep.
Hello?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Oui, on voit ça.
As I was saying,
We can hear
thank
you.
you very much, Jean, for reminding us that seeds can be saved, seeds should be exchanged, and seeds should not be commodified. And of course, you've also pointed out the fact that seeds should be saved because we need them for future generations. Next, will be talking to David Wanjama from the Seed Savers Network based in Kenya. David is going to be sharing with us his success story, but also it's very important for him to let us know why this is very important, especially in allowing farmers to have an agency over their seeds. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Leonida. I want to be allowed to share some pictures. But Seed Savers Network work at the grassroots in Kenya, and we practically work with farmers to address seed access issue. One of the most important cultural activity is seed saving and storing seeds in the seed bank. And the first step that we do in seed saving is actually mobilization of farmers, because there is a lot of campaign which has happened over time to stop farmers from saving seeds or having seeds in their seed bank, being told that their seeds are not good enough. So to rewind that, we have to talk to them and go to them and ask them whether that is the right thing to do. And then we just visit farmers groups, barazas, and ask them whether they would like to save seeds or they would like to start seed saving. If they say yes, we start training them on saving seeds of certain crops. Some of the crops that we might have heard, but they are not saving their seeds, is especially those that are hard to find in the agro shops, especially like you can see in that picture, local vegetables. If you don't save your own seeds, you'll never find them anywhere. So we train them on how to harvest them, how to isolate the best seeds, and also after that, we also like for the crops like maize that require positive seed selection, we show them how to select for the fast growing, for the ones that resist against pests and diseases, for the one that will do in rich rains, even for climate change. And eventually, what should go to the next generation of crop is the crop, is the plant, are the seeds that are better in terms of adaptability. And then after that, the seeds are harvested. And of course, this follows the previously tagged crops. Previously that they are tagged in the field is what is harvested as a seed, as you can see this picture. And then what we do is also now we process the seeds. Like for instance, if it's tomatoes, we have to do wet extraction, and then we have to dry them, as you can see in the pictures. And we have also to remove any foreign material or seeds that are not good enough, so that what go to the store is goods that are ready to germinate. And then we do some sort of treatment, but we don't use chemicals. What we use is the diatomaceous earth. It's a mineral that we mine around here, and also is commonly available in many places in Kenya, I believe in many places in Africa. And eventually that protects seeds against pests like weevils or against molding. And then we also do the labeling and documentation, so that because our seed banking model is based on everyone has to bring their own seeds in a specific location where people have agreed together. So we label seeds clearly to show which seed is that, how does it germinate, and also sometimes put the name of the owner. And of course, as you but you're able to sell sometimes, or you're able to exchange with others. And then after that, you bring them to the seed bank. That is now the story. Some farmers preserve them in their own granaries. Others preserve them in the common seed bank, like the ones you can see here. And they are all belonging to them. But when they come to collection, they don't have to collect all of it. They collect only part of it. But before anything else, we do the documentation. And this is a development of community biodiversity register, just to say that the seeds that are in the seed bank belong to the farmers. And we some sort of in the documentation process create evidence that these seeds really belong to this community, and that also try in some way to address the threat of biopiracy, because Kenyan laws on seeds allow companies to private farmer seeds. The way to prevent that is to create some sort of evidence that they existed before. So we take pictures and we describe them a bit, and we also take indigenous knowledge that is associated with those varieties. And after that, just before the planting season, we conduct seed fairs so that everyone who has seeds in the seed bank can come and display them. And the people who are not members of the seed bank could come and buy. And those who are members of the seed bank could exchange seed with each other. For instance, you can give me one glass of same varieties of bean, and I give you a glass of another variety of bean, and like that. And others who have money, they could buy from those who have been conserving them. And after that, the seeds during the planting season, people have to come to the seed bank and collect their seeds. And the reason why there is communal seed storage, by keeping the seeds together in one homestead. It's not necessarily a building that is constructed as a seed bank, but keeping together in one homestead is to avoid the temptation of eating the seeds when the hunger strike, or selling the seeds. Most of the seeds are also grains, or selling them when you really need money. But if you keep them somewhere with the rules and regulations where you cannot access them, you are able to have them there for as long as they are required to be, until the rain comes. And then after, we also have the seeds in the seed bank. We upload those seeds in the seed exchange platform, where other people who could be far are able to get the contact of the farmers who are selling those seeds, and they could request them to send them on courier, and they could send money on M-Pesa. Eventually, everybody is able to access seeds from wherever they could be, and the rare varieties are able to move. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I also apologize that I was a bit challenged because I wasn't using the computer really. I was a bit challenged in sharing my screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for sharing, and of course for linking technology to indigenous seeds. This is something that is quite worth celebration. And of course, one thing that maybe you forgot to say is that you also developed a book which people can use to actually see the steps in how to save seeds. Next, we are going down south to Southern Africa region. And there we're going to be meeting Linda Kabaira from Rescope. Linda is going to be talking to us about young people and a project they have called Regreening Schools. Linda will also be telling us why youth, why culture, and also what is the intersectionality, for example, between seed, youth, and culture. And then, of course, Linda will also be sharing with us what has been their success story with regards to the greening schools and also working with young people, given that we know that food production is inherently an elderly people's occupation? How are they succeeding in bringing young people back to agriculture? Over to you, Linda. Welcome.
Thank you, Leonida. Like she says, my name is Linda Kabaira. I'm from Zimbabwe, working with RESCOP, RESCOP standing for Regional Schools and Colleges Permaculture Program. So RESCOP actually started way in 1994 in Zimbabwe as a community-led initiative, which is founded on the inspiration to transform landscapes so that they can become green and edible. So this is actually the platform that we ride on as an organization to ensure that landscapes can be edible, they are eaten, and the young people are actually motivated. So just getting into why we actually work with youth, I think most of you might have followed or know, according to UN, the proportion of youth in Africa, like the people that are aged 15 to 24, is actually 20% of the population of us in Africa. And then when we include the ones that are above 15 but below 35, which are still within the youth age range, they contribute 60, almost 75%, which is 3/4 of the population of us in Africa. So if we are actually thinking that 75%, if we are here today talking about seed, the sustainability of seed in Africa, and if we leave 75% of us, then I'm sure as much as we are doing a lot of work, we are actually leaving the whole of us out of this whole motion. So as we think about advocating for seed, sustainable seed systems, sustainable food systems, we really have to think about how do we make sure that these youths are part of this motion so that we don't leave 75% of us out of this motion. So as RESCOP, we're actually working currently the ones that are official within the network. We are in 5 countries, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Zambia, Uganda, Kenya. But this is actually an evolving, a growing network, like a myceliating network of young people across the countries in Africa, where the biggest issue is us weaving together through the growth, multiplicity of all the issues that the youth are actually going through. But of importance is us sending the message out there that youths and young people are the custodians of their land, their seed, and their culture. And by so doing, we make sure that as they do the work that they are doing, they are advocating with their communities, the local leaders, on environmental friendly policies, starting with the education, like as an organization, starting from the name itself, RESCOP, which is based on the schools and colleges. So we are looking at schools as centers where the schools are supposed to be demonstration centers for green communities, where everything else happens, and then the community is supposed to learn, it diffuses into the community, and then it grows out. So by so doing, we are actually trying to influence the policy, the education policy. Like in Zimbabwe, we've actually done quite a lot of work around that, making sure that we have regenerative agriculture, agroecology, and permaculture within the school curriculum, not just on the theoretical part, but also on the practical sense. And then we also move on to other policies, the environmental related policies like the climate policy, what exactly is in and how are young people benefiting. We also have the renewable energy policy, all the policies that are relevant in terms of ensuring that the future of young people and the future of nations in Africa are actually better. So this is kind of what we focus on. But we have significant pathways that we use, like what she indicated during the introduction. So we have the 2 pathways first one is the Green Schools initiative, which we are actually known for, where I spoke earlier about transforming landscapes so that instead of them becoming just bare landscapes, they become edible. They become something that young people can actually be motivated to work on. They can harvest food from the grounds around their school grounds, from being bare landscapes where they will be sweeping sometimes, or if not, there will be lots of lawn, but then the lawn is not something that the children can eat. But knowing also the circumstances within our Africa, we are struggling with water, but you'd find that some schools can ask even young people to bring a bottle of water to water some flowers or lawn. So the motion that we're actually pushing for is that instead of us growing lawn and using all these resources, why not grow food that the young people can actually enjoy at the end of the day? So that's the motion that we're using. So that pathway is the Green Schools for Nutrition Enhancement and Climate Resilience, a pathway which focuses mostly on supporting school-based feeding programs within schools. So around those, throughout the projects that we're working with within the 5 African countries that I spoke about, we are working in over 200 schools in excess of plus or minus 100,000 learners that are directly benefiting in their communities. So they will be looking at improving growing and intake of balanced diet, looking at learners being able to consume 4-star diets, energy-giving foods, which are focused on cereals, protective foods, the fruits, the vegetables, the proteins, both from plant and animals. And within this, there is no way we can actually talk about growing food or balanced diet without really talking about the seed. So we have an initiative around this that we call seed libraries, where we continuously share, multiply, grow seed, and then the kids take the seed home and the seed actually diffuses into the community. And one other focus that we have there is a focus on our traditional foods and our traditional seeds. So when it comes to the energy-giving seeds, we promote cereals such as our local small grains, the rapocos, different small grains, and then we also promote things like cassava, sweet potatoes, which are not so difficult and can thrive very well within our spaces. And then when it comes to the vegetables, we also look at the different local varieties that we have, the amaranthus, the blackjacks, which are not so common because of the context, the narrative that has been there, but yet they are very high in the different micronutrients. Then when it comes to the protein, we do the same thing. When it comes, we look at the pulses, the legumes, the so small things that have actually been thrown aside. So we bring these things into the spaces of the school. So alongside this, because of the trend of working with young people, we then bring the hashtag grow your own, cook your own, and eat your own, where we inspire the young people to actually get excited by these friends of bringing in the hashtags, let's grow our own, let's cook our own, and let's eat our own. So we bring in these spaces again, the learning of how to cook these traditional varieties, the traditional dishes, making them popular in different ways, and also bringing in different ways of cooking that would really motivate the young people to actually love eating and celebrating these. And to wind up,
Linda, maybe we can share the presentation with the participants. Maybe we can share it with you could share it with Dima. I know we are pressed for time, and we have a lot that we could hear from you. So probably you could share that so that you can give the opportunity to the Tunisian group to share with us what's happening in the northern part of Africa.
That's all right. Thank you very much, Leonardo. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right. And you'll be sharing your presentation with the other participants so that they can follow up. And of course, they'll be following you on Twitter as well as your page at Rescope. Next, we are going to Northern Africa, specifically to Tunisia. And in Tunisia, we're going to be listening to the Association Tunisienne de Permaculture. And in Tunisia, we're having a presentation from Freddy and Rim, and they'll be sharing with us what they do with regard to the Festival of Indigenous Seeds. And of course, they're going to be delving into issues around permaculture, as well as who their friends are and why it's important to have allies when you're talking about issues of food and issues of seed. Welcome, Freddy.
Welcome, thank you very much. Bonjour, merci. عسلامة الكل، مرحبا. نخلي ريم تعرف بروحها، مرحبا.
Aslama, donc أنا ريم فلوثي.
Hi everyone, this is Reem.
Je suis la présidente de l'association tunisienne de
I
permaculture.
am the president of Tunisian Permaculture Association for 4 years. So I'm going to tell you that
Je voulais travailler et développer la permaculture en Tunisie.
by a group of people in Tunisia. So the first issue is about the peasant seed. So we cannot do permaculture and agroecology and grow hybrid seeds. So the first thing that I did in 2015 is to create, the first feast of peasant seeds in the region, not the capital city. So we work over all the Tunisian territory. So the problem is that the first 3 years there was a few people that were concerned, interested in the farmers' seed. So we did not voice about them a lot. So there's a group of,
So in
farmers
2018,
militing.
we decided to go and look for seeds.
We
And we set
organized,
up a
the caravan of
for peasant seeds, and we undertook a huge trip across the country, and we literally went to knock on the doors of all the farmers, and they referred us to other farmers, and we could find farmers who were still cultivating indigenous seeds and seeds that had been saved from generation to generation. So these farmers constitute our main working group and our main panel of advocates for seed saving, and we invite them each and every year at our fair. And this annual fair takes place in different places, because the idea is that the farmers are not expected to come to us, but we also come to them. So each and every year, we organize these fairs in different regions of the country. So today, farmers are aware of the advocacy work that is required on the issue. And this advocacy work has borne fruit, because we have managed to set up a gene bank in Tunisia. And the work that we have managed to do around this have started to create awareness around this topic of seeds. And we have even managed to manufacture a stamp, a postal stamp. It's maybe not big, but on this stamp, there is mention of indigenous seed. And this is important because these are activities through which the awareness of people grows on the issue. We have also edited a small guidebook. It's going to be released this year. And this book lists all the seeds we have found in Tunisia. And the issue, as in every way, is that we're lacking of seed variety. So Fred coordinates this peasant seed program in Tunisia, and is also the head of the organization of all these seed fairs. So over to him.
Thank you very much for sharing. Okay.
It says activating his mic now. There we go. Thank you, everyone. My name is Fred Kawesh. I am the coordinator of the Peasant Seed Project, together with my colleagues. And this project is basically, seed saving is the basis of the main concerns of the association. So what we're trying to celebrate in our fairs is this festive dimension of the gatherings, and this speaks of a certain form of resistance. So we have set up a network of seed savers throughout the country. We invite them each and every year, often on the first weekend of the month of September. And each and every year we choose one town where everybody gets together. And the following year it will happen in some other place. So the main activity that we carry out is about seed saving, free donation of seeds, promoting exchanges of seeds. But there's also other activities that we focus on. We organize workshops around seeds and agroecology, different conferences. We also screen movies and organize debates. So that's the seed fair. And this event is really, people really wait on it. They look forward to it. We have also made the decision a few years back now to set up seed houses. We started with the southern part of the country. We started visiting in households and identifying people who are still saving seeds. And we're talking about peasant seeds. And the idea was to set up people in networks and to connect them amongst one another so that they would be saving those seeds and exchanging them. So we started in the Sahelian region. And we opted to really focus on an area and do well-established work there and then to move on. And there's an activity around multiplying ancient varieties. We've been, for instance, working on ancient wheat varieties. So what we do is we would hand over a small starter pack of wheat to a group of peasants, and later in the year, they can save their entire harvest and then hand over a small quantity to the seed saving bank, which will in turn be handed over to another group of farmers. So this is our way of promoting the cultivation of peasant seeds. So there's various varieties like Arwisha variety that we've promoted like this. We've also been doing the same with leguminous plants. There's also a dimension related to scientific vulgarization, promotion of our work. What's very important is to clearly establish an important point. One mustn't confuse hybrid seeds and GMO seeds. So there's many concepts that need to be clarified. So what we're doing is that we're working on support materials that will be broadcasted and shared, disseminated with the public audience, both in English and, French and in Arabic, but we're really trying to simplify the language used in these materials so that it remains accessible to farmers. So this is a little bit what we've been doing. I don't know. We are delighted because each and every year there are more and more people who are expressing interest in the ancient seeds. There are more and more farmers who are wanting to be part of it. And there's also other initiatives related to culinary knowledge. What's very important is to foster a culture around the culinary heritage, around the use of these ancient varieties. So we're very, very proud to be working alongside this initiative.
Thank you so much, Fred and Freddie and Rim. What you're going to do right now is you're going to have one key message from all the presenters, and we're going to be starting with Daniel. We're going to be starting, sorry, with Jean. What's your key message to listeners who are listening to us from all over the world, and also governments? What key message do you have? Then we'll go to Daniel, Linda, then Freddie. Then we wind up this session. Thank you. Daniel, over to you.
Hello. Oui, j'ai la parole. Hello.
Okay, Jean, one message you have.
OK, le message que j'ai pour tout le monde qui écoute et à travers cette réunion, c'est que
the message I would like to share
donc, si vous
that there's no better seed bank than the land. The best seed bank is the land. So that's what you need to protect and preserve.
Very much. Daniel, next.
Thank you. For me, I think the battle we have is one big giant or two big giants against very many people, very big population. So our strength as people who are fighting for food sovereignty, for seed sovereignty, our strength is anchored on the number of people you could reach and the number of farmers you could work with at the grassroots level. I would therefore urge everyone to try as much as possible to empower people at the grassroots so that the numbers would help us to push for policy change and to push for the right regulations and the right rules. So thank you very much.
Okay, next we have Linda. One key message that you have for participants, for farmers, as well as government.
Thank you. So my message is, let's bring the young people in these spaces where we speak seed, where we speak land, where we speak our culture. There is nothing we will do for them without them. Thank you.
And Freddie?
Ok, alors mon message, c'est...
So my message is that this is an ongoing struggle. The companies who are holding the seeds monopolies are huge companies, and they have huge turnovers, huge capital. And these companies
ce n'est pas les petits paysans
which are advocating for technological progress. You know, it's not the small peasants who have access to scientific progress. And so nowadays, technology is evolving at a very fast pace. There's a lot of new discoveries, but these always seem to be favoring the private sector in these companies. So my message is to always seek on self-improving, on expanding your knowledge, learning more, and not trying to resolve issues isolatedly, but by working together. This can happen, obviously, this collaboration can happen on a small scale, but obviously on an international scale between ourselves. So that's my message. Okay, I'll hand over to Rim.
Thank you very much. We've been reminded that as Africans, as people in the African continent, on the subject of seeds, on the subject of culture, we can dare to reinvent the future. With that, we'd like to end our session and we proceed to the main panel. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Merci beaucoup.